Hey, it's George Anderson here again, and welcome back to part two of my little mini series of blog posts here about how to lose weight with running and some of the common pitfalls runners fall into when they're trying to achieve this and train for a race at the same time. Now, in the first video, we talked about mindset and how important it was to get the right space going on up here, dialing into success, avoiding putting too much attention to any potential failures that happen along the way, and really making the decision that you're going to lose weight first and foremost and train for an event secondly. So that was the first video on mindset. Today, now if you felt like that first video was a little bit kind of a bit airy-fairy, it's really is a very important concept to get your head around, but there's nothing solid in there. So today I want to talk about something that is really solid that you can get your teeth stuck into, quite literally, because I want to cover the subject of nutrition. Now, obviously, any fat loss journey, you have to talk about nutrition. You have to cover it in one way or another. You simply cannot out-train a bad diet. So with that in mind, let's look at some of the key. We're not going to go through a runner's diet to lose weight, but what I do want to do is to pick out some of the most important things that you should be doing, and also some of the things that runners often do, the mistakes they make when trying to lose weight and run at the same time for various reasons. So let's just very briefly look at a diet and what it should consist of. Anyway, we're looking at carbohydrates, we're looking at protein, we're looking at fats. You can get all that information from anywhere on the internet, including this very blog, and the kind of proportions and so on. What you should be getting them in. Now, I'm actually a believer in less carbohydrates in your diet rather than more. And that's for runners as well as weight loss, just normal weight loss clients. A lot of runners I find don't like the idea, or kind of shy away from the idea of dropping down calories, or at least dropping down carbohydrate calories, because they're thinking, well, I need that energy, otherwise I'm not going to be able to run. The fact of the matter is, most of the time, runners take on way too much carbohydrate than is actually needed. So there it is. If you're taking on too much carbohydrate, then you're using, let's say take a normal race. You might a run, say you're running for an hour at a steady pace, moderate to steady pace. You're not going too crazy with the speed, but you're going at a reasonable steady pace. Then you might get through 600, 700 calories depending on how much you weigh if you're running for an hour. So 700 calories is a small meal. So you're not going to be getting huge amounts of energy. You're not going to be burning out huge amounts of energy compared to what you would probably be eating. And if you did nothing, if you changed nothing in your diet and you started exercising and doing that every single day, imagine running 5 days a week, then you're going to burn around about 3,500 calories, which is approximately what you're going to find in a pound of body fat. So if you, at the same time as putting in some extra runs, increase your carbohydrate intake, then you're not even going to lose a pound a week of fat loss, and that's again very frustrating when you're putting in all this effort and you're not even losing weight. And that's if you run 5 days a week for an hour a day, which not many of us do. And certainly, I don't recommend that level of training, especially if you're trying to lose weight. So what do we do? Well, I think the solution lies in trying to focus more on the protein and fats and vegetables, and not so much on the carbohydrates. Yeah, absolutely, you need carbs, and especially at the end of a run, if you go out for a run, you're running for whatever length of time or doing any kind of training session, you've got to be putting in some carbohydrates to your system after the workout. No question about it. You've depleted your supplies, you've got to top them back up again, and the only way of doing that is by taking on carbohydrates. So this is, I talk about bread and pasta and so on, but actually I'm a big fan of avoiding wheat. Especially wheat. You can get some gluten-free breads, you can get gluten-free pastas, or certainly wheat-free bread and wheat-free pasta. They're the ones I'd suggest going for. But anything that's going to give you a little bit of energy. You don't need loads of it. You don't need to have a massive plate full of rice and potatoes after a short run, or even a long run, just to stock back up again. Focus more on the protein. Have some carbs, but focus on getting some good quality protein in there as well. Some meat, some fish, some chicken, some eggs, some beans, lentils, pulses, all that good stuff that's going to feed your body. It's going to give you not just the energy you need, but it's also going to help repair the muscles and repair those tiny little microscopic tears that you'll have created in the muscles whilst you're running. Really important that you do that. The fats you need as well, good quality healthy fats like coconut butter, coconut oil, almond butter, olive oil, oily fish, smoked salmon, mackerel, sardines, avocados, all the good quality omega-3, 6 and 9 healthy essential fatty acids. And the clues in the name there, essential, means you can't manufacture it in your body. You have to get it from your diet. Now, why is this important for weight loss? Well, because if you don't eat those foods, what tends to happen is, first of all, your body isn't going to be functioning optimally anyway. But secondly, you're more likely to overeat with carbohydrates. You got it. So if you're eating too many carbs, then there's only 3 places those carbohydrates can be stored. The first place is in your muscles, and that's where you want it, and that's why it's important to take on carbs after a workout, because your muscle stores are open, they're ready to take on this glucose that's coming into your body through your diet, through what you're eating. But they've only got a limited storage capacity, and when they're full, it goes to 2 other places. Well, actually, simultaneously, it goes to your liver as well, and your liver will contain about 50 to 60 grams of carbohydrate or glycogen, stored carbohydrate, and that's what the brain's going to feed off. So you're pretty much always going to stock up there first. But the liver and the muscles, that's the first storage system that you're gonna go for. After that, where do you think all those extra calories are going to go? Where do you think all those extra carbohydrates, those extra sugar that you're taking onto your body, where's it going to go? You got it. It's going to go straight to your fat stores. And it's going to start loading up your fat stores, and you're going to find it very hard to get rid of it if you keep on topping it up and topping it up. So when it comes to nutrition, focus on good quality protein, animal protein if you can. If you're a vegetarian, it's no biggie. Focus on your beans, your lentils, your pulses, nuts and seeds. These are all good sources of protein, as well as are eggs. And just make sure you're getting a good amount of protein in during the day. Don't worry about counting calories or counting grams to begin with, but just making sure you're getting protein at each meal. So breakfast, lunch and dinner, and if you're snacking, have some protein with your snacks as well, some diced chicken breast or some hard-boiled eggs, something along those lines. So protein's super important. Good healthy fats as well, really, really important. Make sure you're getting your fats in there as well. Don't shy away. Fat doesn't make you fat. It's the carbohydrates that are going to make you fat, or rather it's the excess calories that you'll get from eating too many carbohydrates that's going to make you fat. So get plenty of good quality, good quality fats into your diet as well. And just stock up on loads and loads of vegetables. This is where you're really going to come into your own here. If you eat your veggies, eat plenty of veggies, green veggies, yellow veggies, brown veggies. Just mix up the colours. Get a whole variety of different colours in there. The green ones are probably the most powerful in terms of packed with antioxidants. But get just get a variety. Eat a rainbow, as they say, of different colours, because you're going to get the whole spectrum there of vitamins and minerals. Fruit, eat your fruit as well, but just bear in mind, if you're eating a lot of fruit on its own, then that's going to spike up your insulin levels, and it's going to have a similar effect to that which you would get if you were to eat a load of complex carbohydrates, starchy carbs like rice and pasta in one sitting as well. So eat fruit by all means, it's definitely good for you, but just make sure if you're taking it on, have it in smaller quantities, spread it out through the day, and perhaps have it with some protein at the same time. So, an apple and a peach, and maybe a small handful of almonds or some yogurt at the same time. That's going to slow down the rate at which your body is going to break down the sugars, the starches and the sugars into glucose in your body, in your blood system. So nutrition is a hugely important part to play here. Don't get obsessed thinking that because you've just started running here, you've got to eat loads and loads of extra carbs. It really isn't the case, and that is one of the big reasons why people who are trying to lose weight actually end up putting on weight, because you end up eating too much energy. And even though it's a low-fat diet, probably also a low-protein diet, high carbs, it's not the best way of doing it. So there's your nutrition. That's the second thing. We've got mindset now. Get your mindset squared away. Get your nutrition plan organised and up to speed. And I'll be in touch in a few days' time with part 3. The third thing you should be looking out for, the third strategy rather, when you're trying to lose weight by running. I'm George Anderson. This is intelligentrunning.com, and I'll be with you soon.